All right. So, what is a winning offer and how do you make one? Pretty simple, right? A winning offer is an offer, as I would define it, that allows you to scale your business. So, let's say, for example, you're stuck at $50,000 a month. Maybe you're testing some creatives, you're kind of stuck where you're at, you're not seeing a lot of progress. Then you come out with a new deal. You test an offer, and with this offer, you're running a buy two, get one deal for this product. Maybe they get some kind of free gift also. And so now what happens is this offer has a significantly higher AOV. Maybe you see a similar cost per purchase with this offer. Who knows? Maybe slightly higher, but you have a higher AOV. The offer is more profitable, and with the way you constructed this offer, it causes more customers to come back and buy again. So maybe they get multiple units, they get some kind of free gift, and this free gift, one, it has a high perceived value to the customers, but also it incentivizes them to come back and buy again. One, because the value that they're getting from the offer is so good, they may by nature want to come back and buy again. They're like, I got a great deal. I feel like I have to come back and buy again because that deal was so good. I was so blown away with the product. But also outside of that, you're letting them try a product that you know, based on your research and based on all your information, that they may be likely to buy a second time. And so the goal of the offer is, one, you want an enticing offer, an offer that is designed to get somebody to buy. But in order to do that, the offer needs to be simple in most cases. So here's two offers right here. Buy one treatment, get another at $10 off when you use our rewards and sign up for our program. Now, sure, maybe in some cases that could work, but when I hear that, that sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like a lot of steps. That sounds like a lot of things that I have to do to get this $10 off discount. So this offer up top, to me, does not sound very enticing because there's so much work that I have to do in order to get that deal. See what I'm saying? So with the second offer down here, I have buy one treatment, get your next one half off, save $50. Think about how much simpler that is and how much better that sounds to most people. Most people would probably say they would rather have the second offer. And so a big part of marketing, there's several different layers when we're talking about marketing. You have your ad creatives, which are very important. You have your setup on how your ads are set up. What is the technical setup, for example? How is everything set up with your campaigns? Do you have a bunch of different campaigns and they're just all scattered and there's no real approach to what you're doing? And maybe you're running ads for website visits or something like that. And it doesn't really make sense because you want purchases, but that's what you're doing. So there could be technical issues with the setup. And so there's a more technical side to the marketing as well. You have your ad creatives and your marketing psychology that goes into those ad creatives, but you also have the technical side as well, where your media buyers may specialize. Then you also have the psychology behind the offer that you're actually running, and then all the work that goes into that offer as well. Okay, maybe you sell a shaker cup and your offer, for example, in this shaker cup example, is just you're not seeing much results. You're not seeing a lot of progress with the offer that you're running, and so you tweak the offer. Now you're promoting a whole different offer that's buy two, get one free plus this free gift or whatever it may be. You changed your offer, and there's different ways you can go about testing the offer, but the important thing to note is that you understand what actually makes a good offer. So first off, we don't want the offer to be complicated. We want it to be simple and we want it to be painless. So, for example, with this Shaker Cup brand, we're going to call it, and by the way, I'm going to base this off of a real brand, but we're changing some of the details a little bit and stuff. So, I ran ads for a company that sells a cup product. And we ran an offer that's buy two, get one free. Plus, they get this other free gift, essentially, that's very useful to this customer. And it has about a $20 value. So we know from the customers who buy, we gifted them this repurchasable product that goes with the product. It's a complimentary product. So they get 2 cups, they pay a little bit more, they get 1 more for free. Then on top of that, we threw this in as well to make it even more enticing. We get about a $20 value gift on top of that, that is the repurchasable product. Why did we do that? Well, one, that repurchasable product was very cost effective for us. It's a very inexpensive product, but it's very high margin. And we know that if somebody uses a repurchasable product, if they start to use that product and they're getting in a habit of using it, psychology tells us that as long as that product is good, they're more liable to use it again, right? And so we're giving away this other product, essentially, and the cost of that may be somewhere in the ballpark of a couple dollars that in cost of goods for this $20 value product that we're adding on. So we're adding on these products that have a value of about $20 on top of the free cup that they're getting. So you can see how when you add all that up, and then on top of that, you make it very simple for them to get this deal. So one, the offer is very simple. Buy 2, get 1 free plus this free gift. And then you can tell them the value of the gift or whatever. They know exactly what they're getting. They know the exact gift that they're getting. And on top of that, they just click a button and add it to their cart and they claim the deal. So we don't make them have to go in and manually select all this stuff. It's all right there. They just click the add to cart button. It adds everything to their cart automatically and boom, they can check out and buy the product. So what did that do? We saw an AOV that it was significantly higher with this offer. This offer, just in a period of less than a month, just the offer alone, which we were spending less budget even promoting because we were a little bit limited on stock and everything. But this offer did around $65,000 in sales just in a period of 2-3-ish weeks, somewhere in there, less than a month. So less than a month, we did $65,000 roughly dollars in sales with this specific offer. And how were we able to do that? We were able to do that because the offer, one, this is in a peak season and we're pretty busy, but this offer was something that we tested too. So we asked our customers through various methods. We surveyed our customers to figure out what types of offers they wanted to see, which was a big part of this, and what things they care about. And then from there, we came up with an offer where we applied principles of psychology. And then we also factored in which products specifically for us have the highest perceived value and cost us the least. And which products are most frequently repurchased. We took all this data in, added it all together, and then we came out with this offer, which we tested. The test went well, and then from there, then we launched the actual offer for the holiday season. So the first principle is you want the offer to be simple. The second one is you want it to have a high perceived value. All right, so when we're talking about high perceived value, let's zoom in here and let's make this a little bit smaller. And yes, I am in my kitchen area right now. Okay, so let's make this a little bit smaller. And we're going to look at this. So high perceived value right here. What would be a high perceived value offer? So in this case, buy two, get one free, plus a $20 gift. So not only are they getting a free shaker, bottle, cup, whatever, but also they're getting a $20 gift. And then maybe you also add in something else, some sort of mystery incentive. That would be another thing. So maybe their name gets entered into some kind of drawing for something. That could be an example of a really good offer, depending on the customer. And it really depends on who the customer is and what they care about. Or is this offer high perceived value? Get a free fitness PDF with a shaker bottle purchase. Nobody even really wants a ebook or PDF, as far as I know. You know, people don't really like those, especially in the fitness industry. From what I know, people don't really care about those PDFs. They don't want to sit there and have to read some PDF or whatever the case is. Maybe if they're older, they might like an ebook. Who knows? I don't know. But this just doesn't sound very enticing. You know, it's not like it's something that's very well thought out. It's not something that I perceive as being actually valuable. You know, we have YouTube. So if I wanted some kind of fitness training guide or whatever the case is, I could get on ChatGPT, I could get on YouTube, and I could figure something out from there. So for me, when I see this, the fitness PDF, it's not really valuable to me. This is something that I could not care less about. But if you told me I'm saving $60 when I take this offer and say I get 2 limited edition cups as a part of this deal or whatever the case is, I care a lot more about that by nature. I'm getting this 2 limited edition cups. I get some $20 gift, and then maybe I get an autograph from somebody famous, or I get my name entered into something, or I get a chance to get a signed autograph from somebody, or some never before seen product. You could come up with all kinds of different things. But my point is, this is a lot more valuable to me with this first offer. And yes, that might cost me more to fulfill that order, but the higher perceived value can pay you back in dividends, because if you can get a lot more people pushed over that edge, that can really pay off, and it can result in you bringing in an extra $60,000+ in sales, maybe even much more than that in a short period of time. So that is one of the reasons the offer can make the difference. Now, the next part of a good offer, in my opinion, is we want the offer to actually get people to come back and buy. So there's many different ways that somebody may decide to repurchase. Obviously, one of the important things here is the product has to actually be good. If they buy this offer, and let's say, for example, you advertise 3-day shipping or whatever it may be, and their product doesn't show up for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, they're probably not going to be very happy, especially if they have not been notified of why that is. So your product could be great, but your shipping, you may have failed in the delivery step, where maybe you got too many people taking this offer, you got overwhelmed with orders, and then before you know it, you're just stuck. You know, you're like a sitting duck. You got all these orders that have to be shipped out, and you're behind on orders. Your customers are unhappy, and this offer just fails. And then what happens is, now if you have a bunch of unhappy customers, they may start to talk. They may start to bash you on social media, comment on all your stuff, saying how they hadn't got their product, and then it becomes a big mess. And your CPAs can get worse, and that's not fun. So you want the customer experience to always be good. A bad customer experience can ruin everything if you're having enough of that. So the goal with the offer is, one, you know, the offer has to make sense for your business, but also has to check these boxes above. It has to be simple. It has to be high perceived value. The more perceived value you can make it, the better, generally speaking, and if you don't go over the line. So there is a fine line between a good offer and something that isn't realistic. Let's just say my offer was lose 100 pounds in 2 days. That sounds great, but we all know, because we're very smart, we all, generally speaking, know that it's not something that's realistic. So when you hear that, you know that it's not very believable. Now, maybe, for example, there is some extreme example of some guy who lost 100 pounds in a couple days or something on some crazy diet. And maybe he was using your product as a part of that. But when people hear that, our brains instantly say, this isn't realistic. Now, on the other hand, what if somebody said, lose 10 pounds in 30 days? Now, in some people's case, that may still be unrealistic, but when you hear that, your brain tells you, hey, this actually makes some sense. This actually sounds realistic. This sounds like it's an achievable transformation that can happen. And if your target customer has a desire to lose weight, then that could be a part of your offer. That could be the offer that you're promoting. Take this product and lose 10 pounds in 30 days, or whatever the case is. So that's another example of how your offer needs to be believable. If I say this product is normally $999 and we're marking it down to $1, you're going to look at that and you're probably going to think, well, there's no way this product's normally $999 because that wouldn't make sense. So we know by default if something sounds like a scam, the senses come on and they tell us, hey, don't buy this. This doesn't sound realistic. This sounds too good to be true. So there's a line there. You want it to feel like a good deal, but you don't want it to feel like too good of a deal. That's the key. And then on top of that, you want it to be engineered to get people to come back and buy again. So the offer has to be believable. It has to have a high perceived value. And what your customer finds to be valuable may be different depending on the customer. Generally, people like good deals. They like a deal that feels like a good deal, but also doesn't feel like it's too good of a deal. And outside of that, the other thing that is very important is it has to be engineered to actually get people, or should be engineered to get more customers to come back and buy again. Because as we know, if we are running paid ads and we are using the offer to acquire customers through paid ads, it is, generally speaking, one of the more expensive ways, if not the most expensive way you can get a customer, through paid ads. Now, yes, it can be very scalable and it can be very, very impactful on the business if done properly. However, it can also be very expensive. For many businesses, it may be one of their biggest expenses, if not even their biggest expense, going to paid ads. So if we're going to do that, and we know the cost to get a new customer is not cheap, generally speaking, in some cases you may be spending somewhere around a third of your budget on marketing, somewhere in that ballpark. Could be less. If it is, great. Could be even more in some cases. But if that's the case, and we know that new customers cost a lot more to sell to than repeat customers, we want that offer that get as many new customers as possible. And then from there, we want as many new customers as we can get to come back and buy again and become lifelong customers. So our goal is to blow them out of the water with that first order, with an offer so good that they have to have it. And then when they get it, they love it so much from how that offer is designed, because the offer is designed to make their experience better. So they love that first experience, and their first impression is so good that they have to come back and buy again. And then they also tell everybody about it. And so another thing you could even do is gamify the experience to where they could tell other people about that offer and somehow receive some kind of incentive for telling other people. So with that being said, those are several tips on how to construct a winning offer. If you found this helpful, feel free to leave a like and comment below what you want to see next. But that is going to be it for this one.